Hi everyone, a very good evening, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks to GIPC for giving me this opportunity. I think fifth time to come and talk about some of the things that we can share with you based on our experience. So Jane started this session by almost saying there is an explosion in the amount of data that is out there or the information that is there. So I'll just correlate it with the pollution and what is happening in Delhi these days. So it's like almost data pollution that is happening in the information space. And Delhi very fortunately could implement an odd even rule. So I don't know whether we can do that in patents, that on odd number days we'll only look at odd number patents, and on even number days only even number prior art will be considered. But I'm number 3, so today is odd. I can speak about it. So my focus of the talk is going to be on taking forward from where Dr. Lalita left, primarily trying to give you some recommendations on how specifically to search for Chinese information, specifically patents, and how to optimize your efforts depending upon what are you looking for, what stage of evaluation you are, and how critical a particular project or a question that you are looking to find an answer to. So I'll start by sharing some information. I'm not sure if this is clear, but then this primarily is to start by saying that when you start searching for non-English literature, especially Chinese literature, on I've divided this into 3 types of sources that you can use. The first source are the free sources, could be Google, translated patents that you get from Google Patents. The second is primarily then the paid sources, and the paid sources could be just simple machine translation, or could be value-added abstraction, which is available through sources like DWPI or Derwent World Patent Index. So we need to keep in mind what is the update frequency of the information on these sources. So it's not like a patent is published in China and the next day you actually get a machine translation or you get a indexed information about those patents on these databases. So when you start searching, the first point that you need to keep in mind is that there is a frequency at which these databases update the information in English for Chinese patents. So whether that's Thomson Innovation, which actually does it very quickly, at least the title and abstract is available within 1 week of the publication of a Chinese patent. Orbit, again, 1 week. eSpaceNet takes a couple of weeks. And then Google Patent actually takes the maximum around 9 weeks. And then we need to also keep in mind that what kind of information is available when. So to start with, the title and abstract is available, but then claims, or the indexed information comes later. So picking up from there, I think these are the scenarios where, trying to retrieve information from Chinese patents becomes important. When there is a higher percentage of Chinese patents, they show up in the relevant result list. When active or major players in the field are found to be Chinese companies, could be in telecommunication, could be in materials, could be in heavy machinery. And when China is the target market for the client, so especially when you have to look for an FTO opinion for the client. And then when the technology is originated, well developed in China, example, the TCM technology in the high-tech area. So then there are 4 parameters that you need to consider or keep in mind. One is comprehensiveness, that whatever tool you are using, whether that's paid or whether that's free, what is the comprehensiveness of the data that is available through that source. Level of analysis that you need, that is your parameter, whether you are looking at a very quick analysis or whether you want an in-depth FTO analysis. Can you live with some error in accuracy, that 90% information is okay because probably you are looking at an initial assessment of the area, or you need 100% accuracy, it's an opinion that you need to give. And also very important is whether you are looking at a recent technology or old data. So based on these parameters, then you can actually decide what and how do you actually proceed with your analysis. So then this is a kind of the recommendation in different scenarios or different types of IP projects. Or actually, in what stage of evaluation of your project you are in. So if you are, essentially looking at a very superficial or a very quick patentability search, then probably pure English search and analysis can suffice. You are looking at broad level landscape, then again, you can do a quick search. Or you are looking at broad level competitor intelligence, then, the English translation or the machine translation through paid or through free databases can help you get answer to the question that you are looking for. Now, where to combine the English language with the native language search is primarily when you are looking at a slightly more comprehensive, you are slightly more advanced in the evaluation of the idea that you are working on. You are looking at a landscape where you want to analyze the need in detail, or you are trying to monitor the need, essentially looking at how the technology is developing, how the competitors are now focusing on, what is the R&D roadmap. At this stage, you need to start considering that in addition to the English, you should start looking at native language search. And then preferably, where you have to resort and look for options where you do the native language search, and we actually did a pretty extensive evaluation that what is the quality, comprehensiveness, and accuracy of machine or native machine language search versus native language search. So if you're doing a FTO analysis, if you're doing an invalidation, you're doing a deep dive competitor intelligence, or you're doing innovation scouting. So these are the areas where you should preferably look for a native language search. And that's what I would like to summarize as a few recommendations. And here are a few guiding principles. I mentioned that we actually did a very extensive analysis of paid sources versus free sources versus native language search versus indexed sources. And for most of the purposes, if you are doing an initial assessment, the translations from free databases are more readable and close to the feel of the invention. For paid indexed databases, there are different parameters that sometimes the claims are not good. Sometimes, yes, there is time when the information is updated. But especially when you are looking for FTO, then you should do the native language search. And I'll conclude in the technology areas that we evaluated 4 technology areas. And the translations for electronic related patterns are of higher quality, followed by those for mechanics, mainly because of the more standardized terminology translation, or although the translation is not in professional language, can still be understood. For biotechnology and chemistry, the terminology translation for most databases are not that satisfactory, with errors that will affect the understanding and analysis. So that's a quick summary. And before I conclude, a very quick overview about my company, Evaluserve, which is the largest IP and R&D research group in the world, with more than 300 analysts in IP and 150 people in R&D. So thank you.